Have you ever stopped to think, what if the definition of success you've been chasing your whole life is actually what's keeping you broke? Since we were kids, we've been taught a formula. Go to school, get a good job, buy a house, a nice car, start a family, and live the so-called American dream. But what if that formula is broken? With every step on that path, you end up deeper in debt, tied to bills and responsibilities that never seem to end. The peace, freedom, and security that were promised feel further and further away. Today, we're going to open your eyes. We're going to break down a question that most people are afraid to ask. Is the American dream actually destroying your financial life? What you're about to hear might completely change the way you see money, success, and freedom. The origin of the American dream. To understand how the American dream affects your life today, we need to go back in time. Right after World War II, the U.S. economy was booming. Advertising exploded. Television made its way into every home. And with that came a powerful concept, the ideal lifestyle. That ideal promoted a life of comfort, a suburban home, a shiny car, a perfect family, and a stable job. But beneath that image, something subtle was happening. Consumption stopped being about need and started being about status. People didn't buy because they needed something. They bought to prove something, to belong, to show they were successful. Over time, the American dream went from being an opportunity for freedom to a subtle trap. It became a never-ending chase to maintain an image. And the more image mattered, the less freedom people actually had. That pressure is still alive today. It shows up in the way you spend, the way you compare yourself, and the way you define success. 3. The real cost of the dream. Now that you know where the American dream came from, let's talk about what no one wants to admit, the real price of trying to live that dream. It starts with an expensive college education, tens of thousands in student debt, promised to be worth it for a good job. Then comes the brand new car, financed over 5 to 7 years. Then a mortgage, a 30-year loan that locks you into a lifestyle you can barely afford. All of this is sold as the right path, but in reality, it's often just a beautifully packaged prison. You're trading freedom for appearance, buying things you don't need, with money you don't have, to impress people who don't care. And the wildest part, you could be making good money and still feel broke. Because the issue isn't just income, it's the system that pushes you to spend more than you should. This lifestyle takes more than your money. It drains your peace, your energy, your health, and in many cases, your relationships. You work more just to keep it all afloat, but somehow, it's never enough. And at the end of the month, you're still in the red. That's not freedom. That's slavery, dressed as success. 4. The illusion of success. In today's world, social media has created a silent trap. Comparison. With just a few swipes, you see people traveling the world, driving luxury cars, wearing designer brands, and living in million-dollar homes. And deep inside, something whispers, you need that too. But here's the truth. Most of it is fake, or worse, financed. A lot of people who look rich are drowning in debt. They're funding a lifestyle they can't afford, just to keep up appearances, for likes, for validation. This is what we call loud wealth. It screams, it shows off, but it's usually unstable, built on sand. Meanwhile, real wealth is silent. It's humble. It doesn't need to prove anything. It grows in the background while everyone else is chasing attention. The illusion of success is powerful because it makes you feel like you're not enough, like you have to catch up. And when that belief takes root, you start spending from a place of insecurity, not intention. But here's the wake-up call. True success isn't about how it looks. It's about how it feels. Freedom, clarity, peace, not pressure, anxiety, and debt. 5. Case studies and numbers. Let's set the feelings aside for a minute and look at the facts. Over 70% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, even those with what society calls good jobs. Student loan debt has passed $1.7 trillion. Credit card debt is at record highs, with interest rates that trap people in endless cycles. And what do all these people have in common? They're chasing the dream. They're trying to look successful, even if it means being financially miserable behind the scenes. Now look at this contrast. Some of the world's wealthiest people live incredibly simple lives. Take Warren Buffett. still lives in the same modest house he bought in 1958, drives a basic car, eats at McDonald's. He doesn't care about looking rich, he cares about being free. That's the key. The money you don't spend is the money that builds freedom. On the other hand, many people driving luxury cars or living in massive homes are just one emergency away from bankruptcy. The difference isn't in what they earn, it's in how they think and what they value. These numbers aren't meant to scare you. They're here to wake you up, to show you that you don't have to live like everyone else, because most people are lost. 6. The cost of comparison. Comparison is silent, but destructive. Every time you scroll through social media, you're bombarded with curated success, vacations, new cars, designer outfits, luxury homes. But here's what most people forget. It's a highlight reel, not real life. You don't see the credit card debt. You don't see the stress behind the smiles. You don't see the late nights, the anxiety, the empty bank accounts. But what you do see is enough to make you feel like, I'm behind. That's the moment the trap sets in. Because once you believe you're behind, you start spending to catch up. You chase approval, you chase likes, you chase an image. But comparison has a cost. It robs you of peace. It clouds your judgment. It makes you buy things you don't need and live a life you don't even want. You start making financial decisions based on what others are doing, not based on your values, your goals, your truth. But here's the truth. You don't need to win someone else's race. You just need to run your own, with clarity, intention, and peace. The wealthiest people aren't the loudest. They're the most focused. 7. Minimalist finance and the new wealth. There's a quiet movement growing all around the world. It doesn't make headlines. It doesn't go viral, but it's changing lives from the inside out. It's called minimalist finance, and it's the foundation of what we now call the new wealth. Minimalism isn't about living poor. It's about living free. It's not about having less. It's about needing less. And that shift changes everything. When you stop chasing every new gadget, trend, or social status symbol, you start gaining something far more valuable: clarity. You begin to see where your money was leaking. You start realizing how many of your expenses were driven by emotion, ego, or insecurity. You realize that real power isn't in the luxury car or the designer shoes. It's in being able to say, I don't need that to feel complete. This new version of wealth isn't loud. It's intentional. It's the person who lives in a modest home, but owns it, drives a simple car, but has investments growing quietly, takes fewer vacations, but sleeps well every night. This is the quiet flex, and it's becoming the strongest form of financial power today. Because the real question isn't, how much do you have? It's, how much peace do you feel with what you have? 8. Redefining personal success. There comes a moment in everyone's journey where you have to stop and ask yourself one of the most important questions of your life. What does success really mean to me? Because if you don't define it, the world will do it for you. And what the world offers is often shallow. Money without peace, fame without freedom, stuff without meaning. Redefining success is not about giving up. It's about waking up. Maybe for you, success means being debt-free. Maybe it's having time to eat dinner with your kids every night. Maybe it's the ability to work from anywhere or retire early or give back. Whatever it is, it should be yours. Not society's version, not Instagram's version, yours. And when you define it clearly, your actions start aligning, your spending shifts, your priorities sharpen, and you begin to feel something you might not have felt in a long time: peace. Success isn't about how it looks, it's about how it feels, deep inside your soul. 9. Strategies to live well without debt. Let's get practical. Living well doesn't mean living expensively. And if you want real wealth, you need strategies that protect your peace, not just inflate your lifestyle. Here are powerful principles to live well without falling into debt. 1. Learn to say no. Not every offer is an opportunity. Not every invitation deserves a yes. Saying no isn't rejection, it's protection. It's guarding your future. 2. Build a sustainable lifestyle. Forget keeping up with anyone. Live below your means, not at or above them. This is the quiet habit of millionaires that nobody talks about. 3. Stop buying to feel better. Retail therapy is a lie. If you're spending to escape, you're digging a hole. Your peace can't be bought, but it can be budgeted. 4. Set clear financial goals. Goals give your money direction. Without goals, money flows out aimlessly. But with a purpose, every dollar becomes a soldier in your freedom army. 5. Redefine enough. The moment you realize you already have enough is the moment you stop being controlled by comparison. These aren't trendy tips, they're timeless truths. Because the wealthiest people aren't chasing everything, they're focused on what matters. And when you build that mindset, you'll start seeing wealth everywhere, in your time, in your choices, in your peace. So now the question hits harder. Is the American dream really your dream? Or just a well-packaged trap? Because when you step back, you start to see the pattern: debt, pressure, comparison, an endless chase to feel enough through things that never satisfy. But here's the truth most people never hear. You don't have to play that game. You can opt out. You can define your own version of success. You can build wealth your way, without the noise, without the pressure, without the lies. And it starts with one decision: to stop living for appearance and start living for freedom. To choose purpose over pressure, clarity over chaos, legacy over likes. This is your moment to flip the script, to stop chasing someone else's version of success and build your own. If this message spoke to you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment below and tell us, what does success mean to you? And of course, hit subscribe on Wealth Blueprint, because here, we don't just talk about money. We talk about meaning, freedom, and building a life that's truly yours. Let's break the cycle. Let's build smart. Let's build free.